Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to day 5. This is your last day. Oh, what's this? Yep, that's me. Had an artist do a rendition of me back when I was in my residency, and I guess it's kind of symbolic of I don't even know what, but it was his idea. He was doing all these sketches, and needless to say, this is here in my condo in Florida. It actually was supposed to be, and I know I'm a guy, I'm in all these girl movies, but the movie, what am I talking about? Working Girl, where Melanie Griffith is going and she's visiting her boss, Sigourney Weaver, her place, and she goes up and there's those Andy Warhol, like 6 pictures of Sigourney Weaver's face in like different shapes, kind of just exuding power and confidence. Well, this was me back when I was in my residency. So what's the point? Why am I doing this final this final video here in front of this piece of nonsense? And the reason is because it's all about focus. Now that we've had this whole mind-body movement workshop and you're all inspired, you're like, all right, great, I'm ready to go conquer the world. Well, how many times does that happen? And then all of a sudden, just kind of reality kicks in and the rejection just knocks you back down, or life just kind of hits you right square in the head with work, with family, with kids, and nothing really changes, even though you had a week of inspiration. And the key to it all is to constantly reinforce yourself with the principles that we learned this week. And you need to be doing it every day. So when you're changing habits of people, as we teach people, it's the same thing for this. I mean, you have to be, if you want to change your state, if you want to change your confidence and your conviction, you have to have a process. You have to have a structure, just like what we teach. So if I look back on my life, for example, I don't even think that I definitely wasn't doing it consciously, which I think is interesting. I was always living my life 5 years ahead of the person that I was. So for instance, this piece of artwork I had done when I was still in my residency. This was well before I had accumulated any sort of significance as a board certified pediatric dentist, um, accumulated any wealth. I really didn't know what was going to happen, and yet that's what this says. When I look at it, I think to myself, wow, like this is somebody who's made it. This is power. And that's what that symbolizes. When I was really young with baseball, before I was actually really good, I was acting like I was a superstar. Before I got into my pediatric dental residency program, I was already acting like I was a pediatric dentist, which I think hurt me at the beginning because I was probably a little too cocky than confident, but so be it. And same thing with being a Beachbody coach. I mean, I became a Beachbody coach in October 2013, and as soon as I started, I was acting as if. Now, for some people, you act as if, and then you get yourself into trouble because you don't have anything to back it up. But how do you act as if and actually follow through with it? Well, your mind, you have such conviction and purpose that the reason why you're doing it is there's just no other way. So it's not like, for instance, for me, I was never really consciously saying to myself, oh, I'm living a lie until I'm not living a lie. It was more like, I have so much purpose in what I'm doing. I know where I want to be. So why accept the here and now? Accept where I want to be. And then in those 5 years when I became that person, and there was another task to to accomplish. And I think that's what's so important when you guys move on with your teams and everybody that you coach. There always has to be a new challenge, but you always have to, your role model has to be you 5 to 10 years from now. You've always got to be better than than you are now, or obviously better than you were in the past. And make it exciting. Everything is mindset. When you get discouraged and you think nothing's going right, well, what's causing you to think that? What's your mind? So what do you mean nothing's going right? Maybe everything's going right. Maybe you're meant to fail. Maybe all those people that were saying no to you that was all meant to be part of the master plan of you using using these kind of proverbial stepping stones up into your next wave of the future. I think maybe, and I don't know if you guys saw my Brooke posted me walking over hot coals at a Tony Robbins seminar when I was 10 years old. My parents were huge, huge, huge supporters of Tony Robbins. My dad, I grew up in a wealthy community, and I pretty much had anything that I had wanted growing up. And then through some certain financial things, so to speak, I'll kind of leave it at that, all of a sudden everything was taken away from us. And my parents really dove into Tony Robbins in the late 80s, really early on in his, in his growth and development of his career. But the principles were the same. And so my parents learned how to empower themselves and all those things. And so what ended up happening is I learned the principles of my life according to what my parents were teaching me, because, that's why I do what I do. Parents teach their children. That's kind of the whole point. And so I always learned those principles, that in anything that I wanted to do, anything that I had passion, there's just no nobility in being depressed. There's no advantage to it. People are like, well, how could you always be happy? I'm not always happy, but when I'm in a negative state, I change that state so fast. And I don't always do the right thing, but I do something. And that's the point. Life is a process. Everything is, you try something, does it work? Great. Does it not work? Boom, try another path. It's about how fast can you change course. And that's really the difference between success and failure. The success leaves clues. There's a million different ways that you can succeed in what you want to do. In the end, you make it your own, but at first, don't reinvent the wheel. Find somebody that's done it right, or read some books, or listen to somebody that you trust that's credible, and check it out. It may work for you, it may not, but that doesn't mean that the system doesn't work. If you've got passion for doing it, for anything, in your marriage, in your work, whatever, just keep doing it, but don't do the same thing. That's the thing, is don't be insane about it. That would be doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. You have to do something different. And so that's what it's all about. It's about how fast can you change course. So I'll kind of leave it at that. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this week. As you guys know, this was kind of like the kickoff, and I'd really like to do this every month. So all I would ask of you guys is to, take this back with your team. If this is something that you think they would benefit from, then I'd be happy to put them in the application for the next cycle. This is something eventually is going to be on my website, and it's going to be a paid seminar eventually. But the whole point now is to give this to you guys, and really just to kind of get your input of exactly what you guys gain from this. And then the other thing is, feel free. This is all about really trying to reach out to as many people as possible. So if you like this week, if you felt like you learned anything, please post on your wall and let me know that you really enjoyed this week. And also, feel free to reach out to me at any time. I'm always available 24/7 to help you guys really help you accomplish your goals. And because that's what we're in it for. We're here to help as many people as possible. And I think that this was just one more step on how to do it. So have a good night, guys. Actually, well, this is night, so I guess have a good day, guys. And we'll follow through this weekend. All right, good.